Back to the blue stream at the 2013 MLG Winter Championships. I'm not Husky. I took his place still, but he's a hard guy to replace. But I'm honored to be sitting next to In Control.
Oh, thank you.
How's it going, man?
I am good, and I'm honored to sit next to you as well.
Wow.
You and Axelab have done a, well, it's weird to look over there, actually. You and Axelab have done a great job at the studio. Hopefully you guys have been checking out their daily content. They've got a couple of shows. What are your guys' shows again?
We've been doing the Winter Season Showdowns. That's been like the main thing we've been doing leading up to this tournament. Obviously, the qualifiers from those matches qualify for this tournament. So pretty much every player you see in this bracket qualified through the Winter Season Showdowns. And again, if you missed any of those, youtube.com/official MLG SC2, full 1080p, it's all right there. Squeaky clean.
But you did shows too, man. That's what I'm asking about. What were they? The weapon of...
We got...
You're not doing
it's
them?
a long story. No, we're not necessarily
Son
doing
of
it.
I know. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay, well, it's fine.
It's like asking about your aunt that died
It is.
recently. I'm like,
I'm actually a little bit.
When you did do them, they were good.
Yeah,
they were good.
Rules of engagement. I think you're looking for from
That's what I was
Max.
trying to say.
And then we had some shorter things that we put on YouTube just for fun. But we're kind of weighing out the space, see what people like, because it's all about what the community wants. Take feedback and we form.
We're off to a good start, actually. This is only going to get better from here. I'm going to diffuse the situation by saying there's a really funny thing going on. So the casters for the red stream are right over there.
They are.
Axelab does this weird thing where he keeps looking at us, and I keep looking at him.
Oh. I think he's looking at the
You'd think so. He's got shifty eyes, though. He looks over here. So then I shoot him one of these, like, these faces. No, he's stone cold killer. You guys
but
are
he's
pros.
just like that.
Watch.
He's like that.
Watch till he gets over here. See that? Stone cold killer.
Doesn't even shrivel. He's a serious man.
He is.
He's a very serious man.
Okay, so we're going to do the bio plates real quick. Tell me about these guys.
All right, so we got Parting versus Sen coming up. So this is, we're continuing with the round of 16 stuff. We just saw, of course, Rain take out Jakshi, a close 3-2 victory for him. Here's going to be Parting versus Sen, a Protoss versus Zerg. One of the last remaining foreigners is going to be Zerg. But, of course, starting off with Parting. This guy, he's good. He's the guy in Wings of Liberty. You know, he had a whole meme made about him, I think.
Yeah.
And when you get a meme made about you relating to StarCraft 2 and how good you are at it, you're generally considered a pretty good player.
He is a monster. The month of November, December were very good to him. I think he won something like, it was over $100,000 in
over
2 months.
2 months.
He did very, very good for himself. He is on that short list of Protoss. I think it's like a Rain, Parting. I think you have to give MC up there. And then that's about it in terms of the absolute best Protoss on the planet.
Sure.
Seed. I mean, there's a couple others you mentioned. But the bottom line, he's one of the absolute best. He's known for his PvZ. Sen, on the other hand, is you called him a foreigner, and he is
that.
Well, he's that.
I don't like that.
He trains on the Korean server. He plays on the Korean server, but he's also the Taiwanese pro. He's the guy that plays in their league. He was brought over from, if I'm not mistaken, Team Fnatic.
Yes, that is true. Where
he left, he kind of departed from the non-Korean scene where he was going to international tournaments all the time. They bought him a place, they put him in their league, and he is the superstar there. He makes very few trips outside of that place, but here he is, and he's got his hands full.
I wish I could say I followed that league closely, and I don't mean to
Nobody
put you on
does.
Okay.
You're not alone. Don't feel bad about that. I wish I knew more. Like Sase went over and played, and then I heard nothing about him. I actually did. I don't know how he did there. I assume very well. But him and Sen were the big superstars. Sen, of course, the domestic superstar. So, but enough about what he's done in his country. He's actually abroad been still one of the best Zerg players on the planet.
Absolutely.
He's a monster.
He made a great run in NASL twice.
Yeah.
I think he got third twice.
Yes.
And then, of course, you know, going into the Blizzard World Championship, where all the best players in the world were coming together at the final, he was in that lineup of again, the best players in the world, and he got 4th place at that thing.
No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very impressive run there. So coming into this tournament, I'm looking at the bracket, and I feel like Sen is one of those guys who could definitely make a run here.
Absolutely. And unfortunately for him, he's hitting a Parting where it's so understandable to lose to Parting in this matchup that a lot of people will just write this match off. But I'd like to see what Sen can do. Heart of the Swarm is kind of a news story, so a lot of people are talking about the Soul Train that Parting does, the Immortal Push, just made better by that Mama Ship core, but people are experimenting with early Hydra, Swarm Host. Are these going to be the things that hold off Parting's Soul Train?
You know, as slower third bases have been definitely experimented a bunch, you know, in favor of faster tech, as you said, the Hydras. You know, I've seen a lot of Zerg players, you know, get that third, but then get an earlier gas, so they can get that early 100 gas and get that early speed, so they have that map control, so they have that at least the momentum. Before we get too far, we should introduce the players, of course, in the top right-hand location. We have the Red Protoss player, Parting, from Team Startail. Again, one of the winningest players over the past few months.
Originally Startail.
Oh, you're right. Oh, my God. I'm like...
It's okay.
I need to leave. SK2 Oh, my God.
It's okay. I've made that mistake. In fact, I couldn't say Joxy's name correct one single time all 5 of the games.
You just said it wrong there.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it probably is wrong. See how I just accepted it right off the bat? Yeah. I'm like beaten into submission
I'll
with that.
let you guess Sen's team there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, thank you. You and Husky, these guys. I don't know how to say that. Gamania? Right. Anyways. In the lower left-hand side, the blue Zerg from Taiwan. It is Gamania Bears Sen.
That was good.
I know that they're bears.
They are.
I know my bears very well.
What kind of bear is their logo? Based on your statement you just made there.
Brown bear?
Starts with the P.
Don't say pedo bear.
Oh, no. I was going to say
polar bear. Okay, good.
It's not a polar bear.
I was hoping it wouldn't be inappropriate.
I think it's a black bear. Actually.
Well, it's not the color of the bear that counts. It's their character.
You're right. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
Yeah. All right, so Sen is going to go for that hatch first, which is completely, well, it's actually a regular in the ZVP matchup. A lot of times you're going to have to go with the spawning pool beforehand, but he's able to get away with it. Parting disinterested with scouting, and he's going to go with a gateway. Nope, excuse me, I miscued here. We were fumbling through our intros, but there's a forge up in his mineral line. Now, a lot of people say, why do you build a forge there and with the pylon? Axeltos, do you know the answer to this question?
All right, so the reason is, first of all, it's really close to your mineral line, so you can like be super economical and like these players are good enough where they can be fancy and like try to pair up the probes and really make sure their economy is like really good.
Yep.
And you can scout later. I think that's part of it. Also, the scary Zergling stuff from the
you nailed them all.
All right.
With the forge up by your mineral line, you can upgrade off that or even chrono boost it, and that information is lacking to the Zerg. They don't know if you're chrono boosting. If you're chrono boosting your forge, you're looking to do some kind of gateway timing or really just a timing at all. And conversely, if you're not chrono boosting or even upgrading, then that lets them know that you're teching and you're not interested in any kind of early game tactics. But the most important element to this that you actually hit on as well is if you do get like 6 pooled, you don't want to have to lose a pylon and a forge. You just drop that cannon in your mineral line for 0 down. You destroy the 6 pool, and you're just miles ahead in the game. Whereas if you get 6 pooled and you have to drop the pylon and the cannon in your mineral line, but you lose the forge and the pylon, suddenly you're like equal or sometimes behind even.
Yeah, very well said. So, you know, playing very safe. I'm not saying Sen was going to... I don't think anyone thinks that Sen would go for that kind of play, but it is game 1 of a best of 5, so you always have to leave room there. You know, that might happen.
Right.
I don't feel like losing to something that early because I consider myself a very good player, and that's something I have no business losing to. Of course, Parting would be saying that. But, you know, we see Sen, he's foregoing the gas for now. He's going for the really heavy 3 base, nothing but drones, nothing but queens, which means, of course, his tech is going to be a little bit later. You know, is this going to impact some sort of 2-base timing for the Proto? Like, it's really hard to say at this point, but it's definitely worth considering, right?
You bring up a really good point. I mean, this gasless 3-hatch play is reminiscent of what we did in Wings of Liberty, what we saw all the time. But of course, in Wings of Liberty, we didn't have to worry about the tech options that we see from Protoss players these days. The better Phoenix, the Mothership Core, and the early harass that comes from that. Not necessarily anything else other than those 2 things, I guess. I mean, more powerful Void Rays, but really that doesn't really matter for gas at this stage. But we did see Life do these kind of openings earlier on in the tournament on his way to a 3-0 victory over Minigun. So we are still seeing some Zergs bring back that old school.
I don't mean to be that guy.
What guy?
Are you trying to lead me into that?
What?
You're comparing Parting to Minigun.
Minigun?
Minigun's good. Don't get me wrong. He's really good.
How did I do it? I don't know. I'm like, my mind's melted at this point.
Okay.
I was just saying...
You're saying Sen is doing a similar build that Life did against Minigun.
Yeah.
And then you're comparing the similarities or...
Well, just those to the Zerg players.
Okay. Okay.
Not necessarily to their opponents. It's just that if you bring back the old school Roach Ling, Protoss in Heart of the Storm don't necessarily count on that as much.
Right. It's just, you know, I'm trying to put this into words what I was thinking of, but
be delicate. Be gentle.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna let it go.
Be gentle to my innocent heart. Okay. Well, there is that super fast sub 8 minute Nexus for the Protoss. And I'll tell you what, that is a Heart of the Swarm thing. I mean, a lot of times they do that because the Zergs are doing what Lenok did earlier in this tournament where they take 4 gas off a 2-hatch. But if Sen doesn't punish this, and I don't know that he's in position to do that.
He's worrying about...
I mean, that's as fast as the 3rd Nexus as it gets.
Yeah. And that might be the last thing on his mind. Did he scout there with the Overlord? Okay, he did. He was able to scout this, so he knows that's happening, but he's making a bunch of links to deal with this push. Of course, it's gonna teleport out of there.
Recalled back for no damage down, a little bit of energy off that Mothership Core, but that's fine. You usually have a surplus of energy. at this stage. I love the building placement. That cannon's kind of tucked in there. It's a little bit strange. There's a giant hole leading. Okay, you know I said I love the building placement? I don't. I hate it. I actually don't like it at all. I like the idea of what I was trying to describe. What I thought I saw was a cannon tucked behind gateways that were like locked in between the Nexus and the ramp, but that's not what's happening here.
I have that visualized in my mind. Thank you for painting that picture.
So guys at home, correct this, and then you'll get like the wow, that's so
well. He's working on it here. We got some more pylons being added on.
Yeah, it's just he's like patching this up real tight, but the cannon's exposed and there's a giant hole at the bottom of it. So it's like it was almost awesome.
Well, there's a cool Mothership Core flank. Now, what's interesting here is Sen, after scouting the third, after he made enough units to deflect the Mothership Core stuff, he made the cautious decision to make a bunch of drones. So he had no desire to try to pressure this third. Or, you know, I guess that's the wrong word to use. He's no desire to try to deny this third.
Right.
Is the best way to put it. Instead, droning up, going straight to the Hydrogen. He's got 12 Hydrogen production, and he's got that fourth base on the way. However, there's a little thing called Hallucinated Phoenix, and it doesn't cost anything anymore.
Right.
Well, it costs energy.
Not for the upgrade, at least. You're absolutely right.
And he's going to scout that Hydrogen.
The good thing here for Sen, as you said, is he's going straight to Hydralisk. Now, a lot of times if you go Ling to Hydralisk, you run the risk of any kind of gateway timing just absolutely destroying you. But if you're able to skip that, we're going to see something like 14-minute Vipers, and we're going to see Tugs and Hydralisk. And that's a pretty potent army that we've seen like Violet use to actually tremendous effect. But that being said, we're watching a Protoss player that's had an uninhibited 3 bases. He's got a straight 71 probes. Like, this is as comfortable as a Protoss can possibly get.
Now, we just saw a cool upgrade being started there. Oh, the Hydra's actually going to do some aggression here towards Barning, but going to back away. Of course, you know, Hydras, while they did get a little bit of a buff with speed and whatnot on creep, it's still a little bit dangerous to have them on the map.
Well, they're expensive and they're squishy. So they did get a lot better with that speed upgrade, but they're still Hydras. They still cost a good chunk of gas, and if they do get stuck on the wrong side of a force field off creep, they're going to die for a higher cost than, say, a Roach or a pack of Zerglings. So you do have to be careful with them. Their value is in numbers and their DPS, and if you can get them in the right position with the right support units, you're going to have a very muscular army. We have those hallucinating things scouting around, still just sitting on 4 bases, but, you know, I talked about how the Protoss player hasn't really been touched economically. Neither has the Zerg. The Harass did get recalled out, but it didn't necessarily kill any drones or queens. And so Sen has his pickings as well. They're both going to max, I feel, from here. It's just that the Protoss on 4 bases, that's a burden. It's really hard to deal with.
Now we see a pretty cool unit there in the production tab there. Mystery and Control. We got Swarm Hosts. We have the Enduring Locust upgrade.
Yeah. To be brutally honest, I don't like it here. I like when they open Swarm Host, follow up with Hydralisk. Or they open up with like light Hydros into Swarm Host. But I feel like adding Swarm Host against an already Colossus Protoss army sitting on comfortable 4 bases it's missing out on that mid-game siege that you really want to have those for. So I mean, I hope Sen proves me wrong, because we've had a lot of foreigners go down pretty hard in these series, and I would love to see some controversy here, but I don't know. He seems to be the one contained while still going Swarm Host. That seems very odd to me.
I really like how he's using them, at least as of right now. You know, letting the Locust go, and then he typically pops them right up and then moves them. Not enough Zerg players do that, and that's really cool to see. So that keeps me optimistic about this type of play from Sen. It feels like he's done it before, knows how good it is. Hold on, Time Warp's going down here from Parting, going to be backing away, and
nice job.
He's got a lot of Swarm Hosts. So once you start getting this many, it looks like he has 10 to 12.
Well, he's making me a believer. He's using them. To your point, you point out this beautifully well. So often do we see some players use Swarm Hosts where they're spending the majority of their time above ground. That is incorrect. You want to move behind the Locust exactly as you said, because while they may die, even if they get in like 1 volley, they do so much damage. They'll kill the shields on this or that, or they'll even take out a unit, especially if like those sentries wander forward. Now, the Mothership Core did get picked off there, which is actually kind of a big deal. There's no recall out from this battle. If it turns sour, he's stuck.
Oh, well, there's no ability to get a Mothership now for Vortex.
Right. Well,
that's actually out, isn't it?
Yeah, Vortex been taken out, so that won't be an issue, but at least the cloaking, you're right, too.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a...
I miss it. You spoke about something that made my heart hurt a little bit. We had Vortex.
It's hard for me to bring it up.
Yeah.
But you got to really start thinking about the differences. Hold on, though. Parting is actually going to be doing some aggression towards Sen. He's got lots of Spine Crawlers up there. He's got Spine Crawlers across all of his bases.
Yeah. What an interesting place he wants to attack here. Spine Crawlers plus Swarm Hosts are so powerful. That is like, I feel like that's getting close to the best defense. I'm sure Templar Cannon still wins out in that award, but behind this parting's expanding. That's really his strength. He's not just a glutton for aggression. He'll actually just expand behind it. He's progressing with his upgrades. If you look across his Nexi, Chrono Boost fairly low on almost all the Nexus. That's actually unheard of at this stage. He's got 5 Nexus, going on 5, and he's used up almost all his Chrono Boost. Amazing.
Still trying to just get some trades in here. Again, trading supply at this point isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as you're doing it methodically, because if you look at the production, look at the upgrades. He's wanting to transition to air. Like, he's got those Void Rays in production. Trading those Stalkers away very slowly can be, again, a great way to get those Void Rays out on the field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But not all at once. You never want to just do it all at once, because then you might lose the game.
Does he only have 2 Stargates? It's 1, 2...
There's a Warp Prism, by the way, in the main base of Sen. And this is like a great response to what he's seeing at the front door. But Sen reacting pretty fast.
And Sen has that army that reacts fast. I feel like the Warp Prism's a cool move in the days of old when the Zerg was stuck on like this really slow-moving Broodlord army. But now, with those Hydra Roach Corruptor compositions aiding the Swarm Host, he says, yeah, no problem. Warp in as many zealots as you want. I'll go clean those up while my Swarm Hosts buy time.
I'm wondering if this composition will last into the late game, though. Like, at what point do you decide, all right, these Roaches, I think I want to try to trade them away for something a little bit meatier. Are we going to see Ultras, like additional Hydras, maybe more Vipers, maybe more Swarm Hosts?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, what do you think about the place of Roaches super late game? Well, not super late game, but...
Well, you're certainly right. I mean,
right? It's like...
As more Void Rays come out, that army's just not going to be effective. But for right now... Oh! Good tug there, getting 1 Colossus abducted. There's still 4 more behind it, and that's a lot of Colossus. Force fields seem to have been fairly depleted. Oh, 2 more Colossus do get tugged in there again. Wow. You had asked about the Roaches.
Oh, there's the Blinding Cloud onto the Stalkers. The Stalkers pretty much rendered useless, and that's...
Not enough here, though.
Not going to be enough. The Stalkers might have been even aided by that, able to get closer, able to increase their DPS on those Zerg units.
But he's fighting he's fighting Locust.
Yeah.
And they got 1 of the Colossus down to even orange health over here.
33 Roaches in production,
huge.
by the way.
Yeah, look at that production.
And look at the bank of Sen.
So many, and he still has 4th. I mean, you asked the question. That's where the Roaches function, is the reload. Because they really don't fight into the bank that much. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this. All the Colossus gone. And all of a sudden, Parting's like, wait a second. I swear I had a really good army a minute ago. I mean, he's making Void Rays.
2 Warp Prisms going into the main, by the way. He's not messing around.
Yeah, they should be able to get a warp in.
To answer your question, the Void Rays in the top right-hand side of the map.
Yeah, I saw him. A pretty healthy number of them, too. Yeah. There's a lot of Roaches out, some Hydras. To deal with those Void Rays, you're going to need a mix of Corruptors, Hydras, and I would even argue maybe Infestors as well.
Yep, I agree, 100%. And, you know, we're getting to a situation where Sen, he's been on 4 bases for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Parting has been on, how many, 5?
Yeah.
He's got those gas at the top left. Well, I'm a little bit surprised they're not very saturated, but...
This is the best chance that Sen has to do some serious damage. He's going to find out about these Void Rays. There's 9 of them, with a 10th and 11th coming out. That's a lot of Void Rays. His anti-air is not that great, but if he were to lose some Roaches and then replace it with anti-air, that would be wonderful. But if he does that too late, we're going to see a Protoss that's going to build a bank. Right now, there is no bank for this Protoss. But if he gets a bank and has this kind of army, there's just going to be no turning back for our Zerg player.
Has Sen seen the Void Rays there?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I mean, none of the stuff he has actually shoots up except for 4 Corruptors. It may be 3 Hydras.
Not going to go well. Not going to go well.
And now Parting's going to try to take him into the timer. Well, there's the Viper, but you're pulling him into...
No anti-air.
What?
Yeah,
if there were Spores, I guess, but obviously Sen caught completely off guard.
Yeah.
37 Hydras. I've never seen that many Hydras in production tab in my life.
Yeah,
I can say that for a fact.
I think that's a thing of mono battles, to be honest with you. That might be where you see that.
Yeah,
but
you might be right.
Now, the Protoss army did deplete itself of ground units. The Stalkers absolutely got demolished, and that should happen to a Roach Swarmos composition like that, but the Swarmos are gone. The Roaches are gone. It's just Hydraless now. So,
you know, he kept the Vipers alive, which
that's a good point.
That's actually really important, because then you can just obviously pull any unit you want into the range of the Hydras, even the Colossi. They're not as scary anymore if you can just pull them with those Vipers.
Here we go. We're going to have that big fight. Void Rays powering up, decimating the initial Roaches. There's the Vipers you were talking about. We need to see those clouds pulling the Stalkers forward. There's the Abduct as well on those Void Rays starting to chop into their numbers. Yeah, this is beautiful play by Sen. He's going to give chase.
Oh my god.
The Abduct pulling them forward. All the important units getting picked off. And Sen has won the day with that battle. He absolutely demolished that army. 2 Void Rays, a Colossus retreat, and that barely counts as an army. His abduct ability is going to be limited here.
Yeah, he needs energy. He definitely needs energy onto those Vipers.
He might just roll, though, Axel Toss. He's got a snowball army.
If there's a time, this is it. But if more Colossi get on the field, that's when it can start getting scary if you run out of that energy to actually pull with those Vipers. But a huge army here from Sen. He's up 192 to 122.
Yeah.
What's up?
I think Sen did it. He's up 70 supplies, taking a 5th behind us, of course. That's actually not going to happen. Some Zealots being warped in there because Parting is everywhere. He's just a phenomenal Zerg, or Protoss, excuse me.
Yeah.
Top left is isolated. I think Parting has to make a stand over there if he wants a chance in this game. His bank is non-existent. So his mining bases are actually super important. And I feel like if he heads over, he's going to get his units picked off by abduction. He knows that, so he's going to back away.
Yeah, it's such a precarious situation. It's a situation where I think Parting had no idea how big Sen's bank was. He was on 5 bases. He knew his opponent was on 4. He had no idea his opponent was able to remax with,
you're right,
what was that, 40 Hydras right away.
30,
and when that happens and Sen has all those Vipers, goodbye Colossi, goodbye Void Rays.
And here's another warping in the main, but guess what? With those Spine Crawlers and with the units coming over here to respond,
Overseer there as well.
He doesn't have the bank for this. He warped in 5 Zealots and 2 DTs. The guy's got 25 bucks in his couch.
I think that's a desperation move for sure.
You're right.
Trying to make a way, trying to do something about Sen. But even
Sen
if you kill his economy there,
this.
even if you kill a tech structure or 2, like he still has this ridiculous standing army. So
yeah, that bank looks
well, this is good for Parting. Oh, were those changelings? Wait,
no, he got really some stuff there. There's the abduct, pulling more Void Rays forward. The Void Ray count is never able to really capitalize on this. His anti-airs are a little bit limited, so the Void Ray is sticking around for a while. One Colossus goes down, and walking forward through the blinding cloud. The Colossus are dancing back and forth because they don't know what to do. The Protoss army is getting dismantled. 64 supply to 170. Sen has stared the Abyss in the face and said, I fear no evil. He has come ahead on Parting. That is amazing. I thought he was down and out. Parting was walking back and forth on that map.
Parting was the one
laughing,
like hiding stuff. Like he was the one like, I got you, Sen. I'm hiding all these Void Rays in the back of my main. I'm going to surprise you and win. Well, yeah, it worked for a certain amount of time.
Look at that.
Killed the Roaches, but then the Hydras came out. Yeah, Parting's emotional.
The Hydras came out, but I got to tell you that the MVP for that game is the Vipers and his use of them. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people out there. I'm not going to say this is the answer because I think that'd be ignorant. There's a lot of figuring out to be had in Heart of the Swarm, but it's not the Void Rays themselves that are giving people a hard time. It's the, well, this is a weird way to say this. It is the Void Rays themselves. It's the number of Void Rays. No one's complaining about 4 or 5 Void Rays in the late game. Maybe 4 or 5 Tempests really give them a heartache, but it's the fact that that Tempest count, or excuse me, that Void Ray count is allowed to grow to be like 13 or 14, and then it's like Infinity Corruptors trade so uncost effectively.
It's not going to work, yeah.
But if you start tugging out individual Void Rays like that, and it's constantly kept down to like 3 or 4 Void Rays at a time, Hydras can deal with it. That's not that big of a deal.
And a really important part of that is, you know, typically with the Void Rays, you're going to have some supplemental Colossi, right? You get 2 to 3 to 4 Colossi.
You're exactly
That's to deal with the Hydras, because obviously Void Rays versus Hydras, it's not going to work out so well. So Parting had those Colossi, but once Sen was able to isolate those, get those out of the party, you know, using the abduct, he even had like a Roach Hydra flank going on, taking down some of the Colossi, then there's nothing really to deal with those Hydras.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just a brilliant game there for Sen.
Strategical. No, surgical is what I meant to say. Strategical is like strategic. Yeah, thank you, In Control, for that. It's an RTS. Big words. We're going to do a quick commercial break. Axel Toss can tell you about some awesome stuff. But when we get back, let's see how Sen continues this warpath, because that was beautiful play. I'm really excited. Yeah, before we jump to a break, though, guys, MLGProShop.com is your source for awesome MLG gear. You can get a discount right now. 15% off. Use the code F46PQN. Write it down, because that's how you're going to get 15% off of awesome swag. There's these Nike track jackets that are awesome. There's mice in there. There's gift bundles where you can get a bag for free when you buy stuff. So definitely check out MLGProShop.com. It's your source for awesome MLG swag and gear. That being said, we'll be back after a quick break with game number 2 between Sen and Parting.